You've probably seen the headlines, the posts, and 100 comments arguing about it. But this time, it's not just internet talk. What happened this week might be one of the biggest turning points in how the A.T.F. defines what is and isn't a firearm under the N.F.A. Franklin Armory finally got the official green light. A written open letter confirming that their Reformation platform, that weird hybrid design that's been living in a gray zone for years, isn't classified as an N.F.A. firearm. That means no tax stamp, no S.B.R. paperwork, and no waiting months just to own something that looks like a rifle, but fires like, well, something else entirely. Now, this didn't happen overnight. This is the result of years of back and forth between Franklin and the A.T.F. And every time they pushed the boundaries, it forced the agency to clarify where the line actually is. If you've been following the whole pistol brace chaos or the recent reclassifications, you already know. These letters can make or break entire product categories overnight. So in this video, we're going to break it all down. What the letter actually says, why this matters to you even if you've never touched a Reformation, and what kind of doors this could open for the rest of the industry. Because this isn't just about one gun, it's about how far innovation can stretch before the rulebook catches up. So here's what went down. After years of testing the limits of firearm design, Franklin Armory finally pushed the A.T.F. to put something in writing. The Reformation line had always lived in that uncomfortable space, rifled grooves that weren't technically rifling, barrel lengths that flirted with the S.B.R. definition, and a trigger system that didn't fit cleanly into any existing box. For a long time, the A.T.F. just avoided giving a straight answer. But, as of late August, that changed. The Bureau issued a formal open letter confirming that, under current law, the Reformation does not fall under the National Firearms Act classification. That's a huge deal, because this isn't just about one gun getting cleared, it's about precedent. That open letter sets a new marker for what can legally exist between a shotgun, a rifle, and something in between. It means the industry can explore designs that used to be considered off-limits, and it forces regulators to rethink how they draw the line between innovation and violation. Of course, the story doesn't end here. The letter only applies to that specific configuration Franklin submitted, but you can bet this decision's going to ripple through every engineering lab and legal department across the firearm world. The technical edge. The Franklin Armory Reformation has always been that weird kid on the playground. It looks like a rifle, feels like a rifle, but it isn't legally one. The secret's in its barrel. Instead of traditional rifling that imparts spin, the Reformation uses straight lands and grooves, meaning the projectile doesn't twist. It stabilizes differently. That single design choice kept it out of the rifle category under federal law, even though it chambered common rifle calibers. Now, with the A.T.F. confirming this in writing, that oddball engineering just became a blueprint for the next generation of legal innovation. The legal fallout. For anyone keeping score, this is the kind of win you don't see often. The A.T.F.'s open letter didn't just clarify. It publicly acknowledged a product that had sat in limbo for years. It effectively says, yes, this configuration, as tested and submitted, does not meet the N.F.A. definition. That means no S.B.R. tax stamp, no N.F.A. paperwork. But before you get too excited, the protection only applies to that exact setup. Change the barrel, add a brace, or modify the trigger system, and you might be in violation territory again. So, as always, documentation matters. The industry shockwave. Manufacturers are watching this like hawks. A confirmed non-N.F.A. ruling opens creative doors that had been locked tight since the pistol brace saga. It's a rare moment where engineering actually outran regulation, and the feds had to adjust instead of the other way around. You can expect a wave of new prototypes, quasi-rifles, and hybrid platforms trying to dance right on the line that Franklin just exposed. For small manufacturers, it's a green light to innovate, but also a reminder. Step too far, and the A.T.F. can shift the goalposts again overnight. The gun owner's perspective. If you're a regular gun owner watching this, the takeaway isn't run out and buy one. It's understanding the legal map that just changed. The Reformation ruling shows that clear communication and paperwork can define your entire legal standing. Owning something that looks legal isn't the same as owning something the A.T.F says is legal on paper. This is where every gun owner needs to start reading open letters, not just watching headlines. The bigger picture. At the end of the day, this is bigger than Franklin Armory or one oddball firearm. It's about where the Second Amendment meets bureaucracy. The A.T.F's letter didn't rewrite the law. It revealed how fragile the definitions are when innovation pushes the edge. Whether you agree with the agency or not, the fact that this ruling exists means firearm design is still evolving faster than the rulebook can keep up. And that's exactly how progress has always looked in the gun world. Messy, technical, and impossible to ignore. Expert tips. Tip 1. Document everything. If you own or plan to buy anything even remotely unconventional, keep every bit of paper that proves its configuration. Print the A.T.F letter, store digital copies, and record serials. When enforcement comes down to technical language, paperwork is your armor. Tip 2. Don't mod what was approved. The open letter protects that specific build Franklin submitted. The moment you start swapping barrels, braces, or triggers, you've stepped into a gray zone again. If you can't show it's identical to the tested model, assume you're on your own legally. Tip 3. Stay ahead of updates. The A.T.F changes definitions faster than most people change optics. Set up alerts for new open letters and legal notices. What's legal today might turn into a felony tomorrow if you're not watching the fine print. Tip 4. Train for function, not novelty. Whether it's a Reformation or any other hybrid system, get rounds through it before you trust it. Straight land barrels handle ballistics differently, and point-of-impact shifts are real. Range time beats speculation every single time. Expanded legal disclaimer. Before anyone runs off celebrating, let's make this crystal clear. The A.T.F's determination letter applies only to the exact firearm Franklin Armory submitted. The same specs, the same measurements, the same function. If you change even one element that affects how it fires, cycles, or measures, you're no longer protected by that letter. You could be stepping straight into N.F.A. territory without realizing it. That means if you swap barrels, add a stabilizing brace, or modify the trigger pack, your setup may no longer be classified the same way. And when it comes to federal law, almost identical doesn't count. Identical does. Always document your firearm's configuration, print that open letter, and keep a copy with your purchase or build paperwork. Also remember, state and local regulations can still differ. Some states mirror federal rulings, others add their own layers of restriction. So even though the Reformation got a clean bill federally, it doesn't automatically mean it's clear for sale or carry in every jurisdiction. Long story short, know the law, keep your records, and don't assume social media advice equals legal guidance. At the end of the day, the only thing that truly protects you is proof and paperwork. So yeah, this one's a big deal. Not just for Franklin Armory, but for the entire industry watching the line between innovation and regulation get redrawn again. The Reformation decision shows that when a company pushes hard enough and stays inside the technical rules, it can actually force the system to clarify itself. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it changes how everyone designs, builds, and buys firearms in this country. Whether you agree with the A.T.F's logic or not, this moment reminds us all that knowledge is still the most powerful thing you can carry. Stay informed, read the paperwork, and never let someone else tell you what your rights mean without checking for yourself. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay sharp.